July 28th, 2026. Dear Go-Getter Me. Have you ever wanted to find out what it would be like if you were your own biggest cheerleader? How would you react to giving yourself the praise and validation you seek from others? Today, I didn't feel well this morning, but I managed to make it through it, do my job, the things I was supposed to do. And then I came home and I sat at my desk and my mind kind of wandered all over the place, but settled on, what would I do if I was my own biggest cheerleader? What would I do if I gave myself the encouragement, the love, and the praise that I not only give everybody else, but that I wish others would give to me? My issue today is that I want to please others. But the people that I want to please have drastically different standards on what that looks like. I grew up in church, so there's a whole portion of my family that's very religious. How do I serve them? How do I make them happy? And then there's a side of my family that's not religious, and they expect me to have my life a certain way. How do I make them happy? And as I sat here today and I thought about that and I processed that, why is it my responsibility to make any of them happy? I think this all started when I was really getting into writing. As I was writing, I had these different ideas and concepts come up, and it really made me wonder why I do some of the things that I do. For example, I've discussed multiple times that my marriage has been hard. And for some, that's a matter of just leave. You're not old. You still have time in your life to enjoy it. Just walk away from your marriage. That's not how I was raised. I wasn't raised that you gave up on your marriage. That's how it is in my head. And if you were to ask me about anybody else, I would tell you that it's not giving up. But specifically for me, if I were to walk away from my marriage, I would feel like I was failing. And then you have to ask yourself, but is that enough of a reason to stay? Because you don't want to fail. I am so busy trying to make sure that I meet everybody else's needs and expectations of my life that I ignore my own. What if I was just to tell myself, you know, you did a great job today. You didn't feel well this morning, but you still got up and went to work. I noticed that you gave away one of your Instapots. I had 3. I'm down to 2. That was a big deal for you. You don't give away your stuff lightly. As much as you are a give the shirt off your back kind of girl, you would rather go out and buy something brand new for somebody than you would to give them something used that you no longer use. Today you did that. You used to have a whole bunch of craft stuff that you loved. You've moved it everywhere from house to home over and over again. You could hear your husband's voice in your ear saying, "Ugh, this box is too heavy. What is in it?" And you reply, "It's my scrapbook paper," knowing that you haven't used it in 10 plus years. I gave that away this year. Not because I felt obligated to, not because I was punishing myself for doing something my husband wanted. At the facility that I worked at, the girls liked to craft, but they didn't have a lot of things to craft with. And my thought process was I have an overabundance of stuff to craft with. So it just made sense. And usually when I do something like that, I instantly replenish it. This time I didn't feel the need to. And I think that's because when I was filling their cup, I also was filling mine, and I didn't feel like I was losing something. Shout out to me for that. Shout out for me for recognizing that people need to be heard and loved. And saying, I could hear them. I could love them. Shout out to me for being a nice person. Because I am a nice person. And I don't know why I have to have someone tell me that to make it more true. What if I was my own biggest cheerleader? Hey, I'm never without a job. When I want to work, I am working. I am really good at finding a job and keeping a job when I want a job. I persevere in that very well. I am blessed that way. We've discussed that I had 5 jobs at some point, and I couldn't work all of them. That's me. There are people out there struggling right now who can't find a job and want a job. That's something that I'm good at. I'm really good at going into an interview and selling myself. And maybe that's because I have felt like my whole entire life has been one big sell of me. I have to convince you to like me. I have to convince you to want me. I have to show you what my purpose is in your life. Why don't I take the time to show me what my purpose is in my life? So today's journal for me is really different. Because usually it's a lot of rumblings and grumblings of my day and me coming to maybe understand something about myself. But today, it's just me noting that I'm worthy of that too. I might not be everybody's everything. I can't be everybody's everything. But I sure as hell could be enough for me. I often think that I set my standards too high. I'm hard to please. What if I'm not? What if my standards are the way they are because I can meet my standards? I don't need you to take me out to dinner and buy me nice things. I like those things. I enjoy those things. I also could do them for myself. I can sit and read a book and get lost. I can go out to a movie. I can go out to a club. I could find friends and entertain myself. As much as I can do all that out there, I can do that here at home. I don't give myself credit for the things that I can accomplish. I decided on a whim to start a podcast, and I did it. No knowledge of how to do what I was going to do, no knowledge on what I was going to present to people, how I was going to present it. I just said, you know what? I feel like I should do this, and I did it. And I'm doing it. I said, I want to start a business. I don't know how successful my business is going to be. I don't know what's going to take off from it, but I want to start it. And I did. And I have a website. Does that mean I have clientele at the moment? No. And usually, that would be the perfect opportunity to beat up on myself. Well, clearly you're not doing a good job. Look where you're at. Today, instead of beating myself up, I want to be my biggest cheerleader. Hey, you still did that. You put in the time and the effort and the work. And you may not have clients right this moment. But you did something big. You saw something as a problem and you said, hey, I have the ability to fix that. Let me give it a try. That's amazing. It's amazing that I chose to step into a role to help others, mainly because I felt like when people saw me hurting, they walked by. Today, I got up and I got dressed, and usually that's a fight with myself because I don't like the way I look. And as I sit here today, looking at myself, talk to my journal, talk to you all, I feel really pretty. I like the way my hair is curled. I feel like the lighting's great. I like my earrings and the way my shirt fits. Today I wore my rings. I wore my bracelet and my watch. And while those things don't mean anything to you guys, they mean a lot to me. These earrings I purchased recently when I went out with my kid and my husband. I didn't know if my ears were still open. I got my ears pierced as a baby. So I bought some earrings to test it out. This wedding ring, it's like the fourth set I've had. Because whenever I get a bug, I want to change my ring. And my husband says, do it. Go ahead. This ring represents payday gift. I have a best friend who, for the most part, adores the ground that I walk on, and I don't understand why, but he does. And 9 times out of 10, when he gets paid, I get sent a payday gift. That was my payday gift. The tank top I'm wearing was my payday gift. This bracelet, I worked with a kiddo out in Lee Summit, Missouri, and he had a little brother. And his little brother was like my best friend. If he saw me, he made sure to stick by my side despite what everybody else told him to do. And it was, well, Misha said this and Misha said that. And so one day I was wearing a ring and it broke. And he looked at his dad and he goes, it's okay. I'll get you a new one. Daddy, we need to buy Misha a ring. And we laughed it off because his mindset was just to take care of it. Well, one day he found this bracelet at home and he asked his mom if he could give it to me. And so now I wear it. Everything that I do has intention. When I choose my journal for the night, it's with intention. I don't sit here and pick a random word or phrase. I pick the one that is strongest to me. Intentionally. I set my office up in what should be their second living room. Fireplace around the corner. It's my office. I've got the back door to my left. I've got 2 windows that flank. I've got 2 bookcases full of books. This set that you see here is mirrored over there. And my desk. My desk can't just be a normal desk. No. I bought a tabletop and installed it on some organizers. Everything I do is intentional. My thought process was I wanted a desk big enough to spread stuff out on. I wanted to make sure I had enough room to put everything that I could ever want in my office into a little box and put it away. I do so many things with intention, except for talk to myself. I don't wake up in the morning and tell myself anything good. I don't wake up in the morning and praise myself or give myself credit for anything that I'm doing. What would that be like if I changed that process? I'm not saying it would make things perfect, but wow, would it make things different if I could cheer myself on, congratulate myself when I do something well, acknowledge that it may not have been perfect, but it was written. So today I wanted tacos. It's my go-to food. I wasn't upset, just tacos sounded great. If you know, you know, I love tacos. And I wanted to order them, but I felt like I needed an excuse to order them. And so I asked my husband, hey, are you hungry? And I was hoping he would say no. Not because I don't think he should eat, but because if he said yes, then tacos were more likely to not happen. If he wants food, I have to order it from the Mexican food place because of the way he likes his food ordered. If it's just for me, I could DoorDash it. There's no special order. So he says, no, I'm not really hungry. I'll probably eat later. In which I respond, that's a then problem. I'm talking about now. He said, okay. Still didn't feel like that's what I should do. So I walked into his office, and he's playing poker and he's streaming, and I stand there and I wait because I don't want to interrupt the stream. And I start cleaning because that's what I do when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm waiting, when I need to be preoccupied. I clean. So I started putting away his shirts and organizing his closet. And then he starts talking to me, and I pick up my phone to text him. No, you can talk. They can't hear. I said, okay. I'm hungry. And he says, well, what are you going to eat? Well, I want tacos. And first he was like, well, we have food in the fridge. I cleaned out the fridge today, but there's sloppy Joe. I don't want sloppy Joe. We had sloppy Joe for dinner last night. Well, what do you want? Tacos. And he said, okay. And I said, I really just need you to look at me and say, you've done a great job this week. You deserve tacos. Order yourself some tacos. And so he repeats it back at me, and I say, it doesn't sound like you mean it, but I'm going to take it anyways. And then me and the dogs, leave the room. So then I come to my office, and I sit down to order my tacos. And that felt like a lot of work. Ordering my tacos and then having to open the door to get them felt like a lot of work. So I ended up with sloppy Joes. But why do I need him to tell me that I've earned myself tacos for the week? I know the things that I've done this week. I started a new job Monday. My client is amazing. His parents are amazing. I'm having a great time. I look forward to going to work. And then when I'm not at work, in between, I get to work on my book. I get to make new friends. I've become a regular at a restaurant. I am having a great week. Why does someone else have to tell me that? Why does someone else have to tell me to celebrate myself? I do this to me all the time. I wait impatiently behind my phone, waiting for someone to tell me that they love me, that they care, that they're thinking of me. I know it's nice to hear. It's a nice feeling to have when people are reaching out to you. I want to be in a spot where I'm nice to have me around. I want to be in a position to get happy about seeing myself in a mirror, accomplishing something, going after something I want, going after something I need, speaking my piece. Hey, this is what I need. This is my boundary, loud and proud. If you can't meet it, there's a door. Instead of, well, let me see what I can work out for you. We deserve to be our own biggest cheerleaders. It's not easy. Sometimes it sounds crazy. This is the same person who was just days ago complaining about how she looks, and today I'm just like, oh, that light's hitting. My eyes feel like they're sparkling. My smile's nice and bright. I feel happy. And I feel happy because I'm giving myself the credit where credit's due. I do so many great things, so many big things, so many little things behind the door that nobody sees. And I'm just waiting for someone to notice, like, she did that thing and I wasn't expecting her to. Versus I did that thing. I knew I could do it. I expected it of me, so I did. What happens when we all become our own cheerleaders? When we could all celebrate ourselves before we celebrate others? Think how great that would be. Think of how amazing things could be. I am so good at telling my best friend, you're a great mom, because she's a kick-ass mom. It's not easy being a mom of two, especially when you have a brand new toddler and a school-age child, and she's doing the damn thing. She is. Struggles with mental health and still says, I'm getting up and I'm taking care of my kids. I'm putting my family first. I'm doing this. When is the last time you think she gave herself credit for it? Other best friend goes to work and just busts his ass every chance that he gets. Comes home dog tired. Gets up the next morning and goes back to work. Dropped furniture on his toe, blistered it, bubbled it, and still went to work today. And while he's not necessarily happy about being there, he went to work today. He's not going to give himself the credit that he deserves. I did that. I didn't want to be there. I know I didn't want to deal with people, and I still showed up. I see you. You're doing a great job. We're all doing a great job. The fact that we show up every day to our own lives makes it a great job. It is hard to show up sometimes. So I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of me, and I hope that you're proud of you. And if you're not doing something that makes you proud of you, do something different. Find that thing that you can say, you know, I'm fucking amazing at that. Maybe it's that you make a really good grilled cheese sandwich. I like a grilled cheese sandwich. I think grilled cheese sandwiches taste better when somebody else makes them. It's bread, butter, or bread and mayo and cheese, depending on who's making it. And yet, for me, they taste so much better when someone else makes it. Maybe you're that person. Maybe you clean your house better than anybody else. Maybe you hum that tune better than anybody you know. Maybe you were able to remember the lyrics to every song you sang as a kid, loud and proud. Give yourself the credit. Be your own cheerleader. Go get her. Go get him. Be proud of you. You are worth it. Start off small. Today, these curls are popping. I didn't do anything different. So, cumulative, we're going to find something about ourselves that we could cheer on. We are going to celebrate something that we did, something that we do, something we're capable of, some way that we look, and say, hey, we did that. And I want you to make that your bite of pie. I'm not saying that has to be your only bite of pie, but make that your bite of pie. Today, my bite of pie was saying, I don't have to feel negative about the things that I did. I do great things. I do great things. I show up here and I do great things. That's my bite of pie. Today, that's my bite of pie. And tomorrow, I'm hoping to make it my goal to be my bite of pie, to get up tomorrow morning and say, you've got this day. This day has nothing on you. You're going to make it. And then I just do. So, you know the deal. Just remember, today is another page in the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be written. And before you close your journal tonight, ask yourself, what was your bite of pie today? Until tomorrow, love you loud.